here today, and I don't see it on your agenda, to speak about the JAG grant that 4 municipalities in this county have been awarded, or a potential award lies for $147,000. And you are all aware of the hurdles that have been thrown up in the last few weeks in regards to this grant, because the county is going to be a benefactor of such grant in addition to the 4 municipalities. I believe at this point there's 3 municipalities and the county that are pretty much in agreement, but there's another township that is not, and I'd hate to see the whole thing go away for the lack of course, you all know that all 5 has to be it has to be agreed upon with all 5 so that the grant happens. And I do understand that a deal has been brokered, and I just wanted to make sure that that's the case. And if it isn't, what do we need to do to make sure that this happens and we don't lose $147,000?
It's been brokered on this end at this point.
Okay.
It's kind of was the last hour of yesterday, an hour of this morning. I guess things are being discussed. But
my only need for urgency is the fact, and Jamie, you know that the clock is ticking on the application time, and I would not be one to have egg on my face because we left $147,000 slip through our hands. I understand it's stimulus money. It's a gift horse that's been given to us by the federal government and our police departments. And if the county wants their share, that's fine. And I just don't think the deal needs to go away because of one or two stubborn individuals. So I hope that that doesn't happen.
Historically, there's been a local law enforcement block grant that has been provided from the federal government since approximately the mid-90s. The eligible participants were the city and the county for the last 10 or 12 years. And what the city and the county had done historically was basically split the grant in half, and the money then would go toward, prior to central booking, it went toward the fingerprinting machines and all of the booking type machines before it was formalized into central booking. It was shared by the district attorney's office and by city police. The grant then dissolved down to the point at which it was 0 in 2008, and no one got any money. After the stimulus was passed, it got an enormous boost. A grant that used to be between $15,000 and $17,000, which was split between the city and the county, became a one-time, as Ed said, $147,000 grant. The strings attached were that the municipalities, which are the city, North Lebanon, North Cornwall, and Palmyra Borough, those 4 jurisdictions are eligible according to a formula, and the county is considered a disparate jurisdiction. So at the outset of the grant, the county does not have a fixed allocation. What disparate jurisdiction means is that the federal government recognizes that all counties have certain expenditures and certain obligations that have to do with law enforcement and criminal justice. So before the grant can move forward, the county must be at the table and everyone must agree on the allocations before it can be approved. So beginning March 23rd, a number of us have been sitting down and negotiating, and I think we've had 4 meetings total. We're, as Ed said, I mean, I wouldn't quite yet say a deal's been brokered. I have not spoken with the commissioners about the latest development, but it's very close, and North Cornwall, however, is not, at this point I guess it's safe to say North Cornwall is not willing to participate at the same level as the other 3 municipalities are in terms of providing an allocation to the county. The grant has to be written by the city, has to be approved by all jurisdictions. If one does not, then the grant does not go. That's where we are.
Any questions? Any other comments?
Well, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I mean, what, and certainly this is a question for them as well, but what conflict together?
No. My plan was between now and next Thursday's meeting to have discussion with each of these folks and see if we can come up with something to move forward, and then next meeting, it has to go through, next meeting, or it doesn't go through. Looking at a time. From the federal government is $147,878. If we stand at this point, and if I give these numbers, these might be numbers that you guys haven't heard yet, so.
I haven't probably been doing.
If the breakdown goes as I described, with the municipalities giving 30, 30, 30, and 9, that would put get this wrong here. That would basically mean that the city contributes $27,165 toward a county allocation. Palmyra Borough would contribute $4,355. North Lebanon, $8,399, and North Cornwall, $1,500, which would total $41,419.
The municipality's gonna pass it if we're only gonna do it next week.
They can pass. Everybody can do their own separate
Yeah,
resolution.
will they
and
have meetings?
They'd be combined. I don't know. I mean,
we're sort of doing everything around our meeting.
Well, ours
We're looking
would-
out for their meetings too.
ours would be the last before next week. I mean, ours would be the last one before the deadline, so the others would have to work toward it.
But can they approve it outside of a meeting, I think is Bill's question. If they don't have a meeting scheduled, you would have to call a special meeting and advertise it and everything?
If it takes a resolution, obviously, we would have to do that, yes. Yeah. I don't know if it needs to be in a resolution form or not, Jamie, I'm not. The chief has been handling most of this to this point.
I mean, we all know what the deadline is.
Bill, you spoke of the millions of dollars that are being spent. That's just millions of reasons why we should not let this money slip through our hands. I mean, even though it's a little bit for you guys.
It's not a little bit for us, it's a lot for us.
$19,000 in our police department is a lot. I mean, it helps. Not that we're not gonna be make it or break it without it, but it certainly is a nice boost.
And you're speaking for North Lebanon that you would be willing to let North Cornwall off the hook for 9%.
I don't agree with it, but I think that we'd be willing to do that, yes.
And I think the city is in the same position. I talked to Trish this morning.
And I can't speak for them,
And
but-
yesterday, I talked to her last night and this morning. And I think she's willing to do whatever it takes. She doesn't want to lose it. She can't afford to lose the $60,000.
Right. Yeah, they certainly have a lot more to lose than we do, and they certainly probably have bigger needs than we do.
North Cornwall met last night,
Tuesday night.
and this is their proposal, so I don't see that negotiating with them is gonna help anymore. Because I think what we ought to do is we ought to probably move forward and pass the thing. And take the 9% for that, that's it. And take the hit. I hate like heck to lose all the money just because one municipality. I mean, you can see they don't get along with anyone in North Cornwall. So why are they gonna get along with us?
Well, and unfortunately, Mr. Carpenter, at this time, I can't make comment about North Cornwall.
I can say that at the recycling opening, I did get a chance to talk to Kip Kelly, and he seemed at that point to understand the whole process and what was at stake. And then he asked me to make sure that Robin Getz was included, and so I apologized to her for not including her from the beginning when I spoke, but I didn't know what the protocol was there. And I'm really disappointed because I thought that there was some understanding of the desire for all of us to work together and to share. Now, I understand that other communities might only get 10%, but they might not have the same history that we have and the same needs that we have. So if your mother says,
Yeah, it is.
Palmyra's fine.
Okay.
They're
It's
Palmyra.
my understanding that we all have to sign a memorandum of step.
Yeah, and the city's administering the grant, and they're waiving the administration of it.
That we proceed with the grant as proposed this morning.
I'll second that.
Opposed? Ayes have it.